macros here: grass-fed protein, organic eggs, high-quality ingredients. And this is the, I think, Halloween special donut, Gravedigger. This is probably my favorite meal out of this week's order, the sweet Thai meatballs, so I'm gonna rip this right now. I'm fortunate enough to be sponsored by Nutrition Solutions now, but I was buying their meals for 6 months prior to me basically annoying them until they agreed to sponsor me because I love their stuff. So if you wanna support me and grab an order and save 15%, code HU does just that. Love ya. One of the sweetest fruits that you can eat in this life is the fruit that comes from the tree of the compounded interest of your efforts over time. Stick with me, this is a really important concept. I uploaded a video a couple of days ago that I ran the New York City Marathon on basically no training, and I ran it at 4 hours and 21 minutes. That's 26.2 miles at like a 9-minute and 45-second minute per mile pace. And everyone was asking me, how's your heart rate so low? How did you raw dog at that pace? That's crazy. It's simple. It's this. It is over many years, my baseline has elevated due to the fact that I have non-negotiables that I meet every single day when it comes to my health. But this behavior, this mentality, the mentality of building a set of systems that can endure any circumstance or emotional state you have in your life can apply to everything. Finances, building your faith, building your business, building your social media following. But specifically as it pertains to fitness, because I built systems that I know I can adhere to for months and years, regardless of what I have going on, my baseline of health and fitness is so high simply because I didn't deviate, because I got just 1% better over time for 6 years. And now I'm able to go out and do something that most people think is crazy, like raw dog a marathon, because my baseline for fitness is now 30 miles a week of running and 3 lifts a week is just normal for me. That's getting by. But I only did that because I once started lower and then just kept building my bare minimums, because my adherence raised my fitness, it raised my capacity, and now my baseline is much higher than it was back when I started. So if you want to be able to do incredible things, you really just need relentless, unwavering consistency. I'm not saying that time is freaky. I'm not saying I'm some sort of freak of nature. I am saying I believe we all need to have floors. We don't need to have ceilings that we reach for. We need to have floor non-negotiables every day in our fitness, our faith, our finances, our business, our emotional intellect, whatever it is that you need development on. Find your floor and adhere to it no matter what, and then you'll be amazed at what you can do as the months and years pass. It is not easy, but it is simple. Don't overcomplicate it. You don't believe in yourself or have confidence because nobody ever told you how. I'm gonna tell you how right now. You see, you need to understand it's very simple. Confidence is evidence-based. It's like that very famous Hormozy quote we've all heard. You don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. And the beautiful thing about confidence is that it is a universal language, meaning if I build confidence in myself through, let's say, building a physique I'm very proud of, I have shown myself I can delay gratification, I can be disciplined, I can be consistent, I can show up when I don't feel like it. Those behavioral traits solidify into my mind and my nervous system because neurons that fire together wire together, and I begin presenting those behaviors in other facets of my life. I tell people all the time, the moment I felt true self-belief was the moment that I crossed the finish line of my first marathon, because when I signed up for that race, I had never run more than 5 miles. So thinking about damn near 6xing the distance scared me a lot. And then I did it faster than my goal time. And I remember in that moment thinking, for the first time ever, a guy who had always struggled with self-belief, I remember thinking so clearly, oh, I can do anything. I can do anything if I prepare for it. And I lean on that. I lean on finishing my first marathon, all the hard shit that I've done physically since then, when I step into uncertainty in times when I need to lean on belief in self. My pillars of belief are very simple. Belief in God, trust in self. The first two, I developed through building a relationship with Him. The last one, I developed through building a relationship with myself, through seeing what I'm capable of. So I recommend, if you want to build confidence, do hard shit. Do things that scare you, that push you mentally, physically, emotionally. Jesse Itzler calls this the Misogi, and it's powerful. It's picking a challenge that is so big and so audacious that it freaks you out, and then you go out and you attack it. And the power, the beauty of this process is more so what you learn about yourself along the way. That's why I love picking endurance events. I learn more about myself and what I'm capable of in preparing for a marathon or an ultra marathon than I actually do on race day. So if you want confidence, you need evidence. It isn't easy, but it is simple. Don't overcomplicate it. I don't know for sure, but I feel like I may have just cracked the code to performance and endurance running. I woke up this morning with a mild to moderate case of post-alcohol malaise, if you will. Dehydration, headache, overall not feeling great. Here's what I did. I woke up and immediately slammed a liter of water with a scoop of EcoVision electrolytes. I then had another probably 20 ounces of just plain water. Here's the secret. Here's the key to peak performance. I had a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle with a hash brown and a Diet Coke. I came back home, ripped a fat black coffee, waited 2 hours, and now I'm having a great 10-mile run. I feel amazing. You might not like it, but that's what peak performance looks like. It isn't easy, but it is simple. Don't overcomplicate it. The last thing in the world I'm giving you right now is nutritional advice, but man, when it comes to running, does anybody else just heavily prefer training fasted? Even for longer runs, I'd rather go in fasted and eat gels at like mile 5 or 6. I ate a crepe, bad idea, like an hour and a half before this run, and I've just been tasting it for the last 45 minutes, and I'm not having a good time. Anybody else just prefer to run on an empty stomach? Is that just me? Whatever. The answer is always no if you don't ask. And so if we know the goal is empathy and mutual understanding, how do we take the principles in your book, the principles you know and teach every day and that you use in the FBI, and negotiate that great counteroffer when you get that offer letter from a job, or negotiate that big raise? How do we really knock that out of the park with what people would think is the clear leverage holder, our boss, our potential employer?
I'm glad you brought this up, because actually I'm getting ready to couple of weeks do a salary negotiation course online. But empathy, it's how does your boss see you? And how should he see you? You start with how do they see you? Cold, hard reality. Not that they see you as a commodity, they see you as selfish. You want to come in here, into my office, and you want to get paid more for doing the same amount of work. When you're asking for a raise, are you asking for additional responsibilities? You're saying, hey boss, how much more can I do around here? If you don't say that, understand human nature, what they hear is you just ask to get paid more for doing the same amount of work. You don't have to agree, but you got to recognize what they've been conditioned to think. It's a classic work harder, not smarter. Don't work more, work smarter. How can you get paid more for doing the same amount of work? Figure out what's more effective work. What they're trying to do is maximize revenue, minimize cost. How can you come up with an innovation where you've done something more effectively? Now you're minimizing costs. How does what you do connect to revenue? So when you begin to think like that, now you're more valuable to the person you work for. This is how do you make yourself more valuable?
Last year, I made a video about how it's not people's hormones keeping them overweight or their PCOS, it's their elbows. You know, every time their elbow bends, their mouth opens. And a certain group of girly pops came after me and basically tried to perform an online execution, mainly the PCOS community, as well as some of the biggest liars, creators in the PCOS community, stitching my video, using my face for virality, using my video to promote a sex toy sponsor that they had. Real thing that happened. That sounds crazy out of context. You just had to be there. I can't explain it. I don't fucking know what happened. My point in making this video is I reposted it on Instagram yesterday, and there was a lot of women that came out and said the truth. For example, endometriosis and PCOS, 100 pounds down through diet and exercise. Don't fall for the BS excuses. This is someone who's diabetic and insulin resistant. They got their calorie deficit locked in, and look, they're no longer insulin resistant or diabetic. Yes, another PCOS queen. Look what she said makes her lose weight. A calorie deficit. Apparently, I've split the difference on the community. Half of you love me, half of you wish death upon me. But this is the whole point. Life is so much better with accountability than feeling hopeless. And here's just another queen for frame of reference. PCOS, hypothyroid, and Hashimoto's. Her nutrition got locked in. She lost 20 pounds. The point of me making that video was to only do one thing, give you the truth.